Good evening, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, I just want to say my apologies. I had some technical difficulties. All of a sudden, I had to restart my little Android and reboot it and all that stuff so I could come in on this. But here we go. Let me jump right into it. Shouts out to a lot of new people that I've come across in these YouTube streets. And from what I've seen so far from them, they some solid people. My man 901, Pro 901, shout out to you, my brother. Always Reverend Tony, Self Awareness, Tazo TV, so many others. I'm gonna start picking up on the names. I'm definitely be giving shouts out, and subscribers go to y'all team. So, yo, much love to all of y'all over there and everybody in their respective places. But what I want to talk about right now is right along in the same stream of the conversation that was held earlier today. And, the topic was using children in a conflict between grown folks. And so I was doing my due diligence of being nosy and surfing through the news to see what's going on. And as R. Kelly goes into this next case that he got, a lot of stuff is coming out about the tape from back in the day. Everybody knows the notorious tape where he peed on the girl and she was underage and all that stuff. But have nobody heard her speak out on none of this stuff until now for this second case. And now that she's starting to come out and drop some of the secret things that we didn't know about the case, you got a lot of people who was enabling R. Kelly to scrambling now, because now she putting some people on blast. And one person in particular is her Aunt Sparkle, because she has now alleged in court under oath that her Aunt Sparkle was the one who was pushing her towards R. Kelly, pressuring her to, solidify some type of bond with R. Kelly. And she came on and she tried to do some damage control, and she had this little written out speech that she spoke, and she denied those things, of course. Absolutely anybody would. But the question still remains: did you introduce your niece to this man before or after knowing what he was? That's the question that everybody got to ask, because once you answer that question, that's going to give us insight as to what your true intentions was, regardless of what little prepared speech you got to try to they're going to do damage control for what you are being alleged of doing. And this girl, now she's at an age to where she understands how to capitalize on a situation. And so this is going to be a mess right here, because like I said, when she was young, she was 14, 13, somewhere around there, whenever the whole thing came out, she was too young to capitalize on it. And her mom was trying to do, damage control or whatever for it got kind of messy back then, but she did not understand the severity of what was taking place and what she really could have gained out of that if she worked it the right way. So now she's older and she understands this. So it's going to be a lot of name dropping, and it's going to be a lot of accusations pointed for her to build a case to probably try to get some type of monetary compensation out of this situation. Now she missed it the first time around, but here pops up another opportunity. And I've been speaking earlier about opportunistic people. They will seize an opportunity if they see any possibility of them to be able to get some type of gain out of it. And so now she's back for round two, and she's dropping names, and her Aunt Sparkle came up as one of the conspirators. So there's a lot of people now who are going to start scrambling, because there was a lot of people who was involved in R. Kelly making the moves that he did and being able to move in that manner. You had to have people to go and pick up the girls and drop them off at home. You had to have people to go and take the girls shopping and do all of the stuff that he couldn't be seen out in public with them doing, because the questions would have arose, especially after being acquitted the first time around. And so there was people who had to take them out on those shopping sprees, and there was people who had to make sure the money got into those accounts, and there were parents who had to make sure that their girl was ready, and there was parents out there who was not asking these questions. Well, if my daughter is spending so much time in this studio late night with R. Kelly, we hours over into the morning, where is the end product of that? I don't see no backup vocals on nobody's song, and the start of a demo or nothing. There's been nothing gained by my daughter being put in this compromising position with this grown ass man. So there's a whole lot of people who's complicit in this, who now they starting to run around, they starting to try to get their stories together, and they starting to link up and see how they gonna try to keep a consistent story going to try to cover their butts on this, because they see how Sparkle's just been thrown out there now. There's nobody to vouch for her or anything like that. And then she alluded to the fact of, the girl's uncle. I turned a lot of people on to Robert, and I was talking about my brother and my cousin and my uncle and all of these people she wanted to throw into the mix now, as to insinuate that, well, I wasn't the only family member or guardian over this girl that was on the scene, to try to alleviate some of that pressure off of her. But young lady, it don't work like that. No, it's not gonna work like that. You got too many people who asking too many questions now. Back then it was okay because Robert was on top and he still had that influence. It's just like the whole Bill Cosby thing. When they was hot, they was hot. Now that they not, they not. And so your leverage in this situation was based in their star power and influence. And you don't have that no more. So now you got to come clean and be real about what your real role was in R. Kelly doing the things that he was able to do. So now, who are these other people that are going to be outed by this young lady? Is she going to out her mother? Because that's something else that Sparkle alluded to. She was like, well, the only reason that the girl is saying this is because she's being controlled by her mother. And it's something between me and the mother. And that is why I said that goes into the vein of what we was discussing earlier today, about grown-ups putting children in their business. When did this become a thing? I remember as a kid, when I was coming up, the kids was back there in the back room, and you was outside if it was still daytime. And when it wasn't daytime no more and the grown folks was still in there drinking liquor, playing cards, talking all that junk, we was back there in that back room watching movies or something like that. Being fast, doing our little stuff that parents didn't, but that's a whole different story. But we was back there. We wasn't up in the grown folks conversation. We didn't have nothing to do with what the grown folks was beefing about. Most of the time we didn't even know that they was beefing, because they didn't have children in their mouth like that, all up in their business like that, and using the children to try to get to the parent. So I don't understand when that became a thing, and when that became something that that grown women and men use to try to get at each other. That's something that a baby mama and baby daddy did. That was what that was attributed to, using the children as a weapon. But now we have just people who barely even really know each other, who are using children as a weapon. And then you have family members in this situation with Sparkle and her sister. Now they're using this girl who was the actual victim in this whole thing as a go-between, a conduit to send their frustrations back and forth through. And that's real wrong. That's not healthy for that young lady. What is her mental stability like in this whole thing? Has anybody asked that question? Did anybody ask anything about, well, how is this young girl's mental health? How does she think about relationships? How does she act in a relationship based off of what she went through? Is anybody asking any of these questions about this young lady? Because I haven't heard none of them. I heard the jokes. I seen the jokes, and even joined in on some of the jokes back in the day whenever it wasn't a reality to us. But now that it's like put in our face, and it's been made a real reality, and they've made all of the biopics and all of the things, the visuals, to give us that idea of how important and how serious this was. Who's going to come in and state that, okay, well, I was the problem right here, I did this, I was the one who took them to get that fake marriage certificate for Aaliyah to be able to be with that dude? Like, and it takes integrity at this point now. The only thing that they can do for themselves in this whole entire situation is have some type of integrity and just admit what they did, instead of trying to push the blame off on somebody else and pass the buck, playing hot potato with the blame. Yeah, Sparkle, you was excited. You wasn't doing like you thought you was gonna do, and so you saw an opportunity through your niece, somebody who Robert looked at in a special way that he didn't look at you, I guess. And he had a particular uh, interest in this person. So, and nobody's really saying that you did it for no sexual type of thing. Maybe you was just so excited that he was taking interest in your niece that you was trying to push that relationship, and maybe the hopes of getting her on, or getting her in the business, getting her foot in the door with R. Kelly. Maybe that was the intent. But the question still remains, that's going to give us a better idea of whether that was the case or not, is, did you know what R. Kelly's appetite for little girls was before you introduced your niece to him? That's going to answer that question right there. And anything you say after that point pretty much is going to be taken with a grain of salt. Because if you know and that this man is what a pedophile, I'll just say it for what it is. I don't know why everybody be trying to cover up and be politically correct. If this man out here being a pedophile like little girls, and you know that, and you've seen the situations, and you probably heard some of the gossip about it, and you still put your niece in that type of environment, then yeah, you are guilty. You are absolutely guilty. And so when you operating in that level of guilt, and for all of these years you've been denying it and acting like you're appalled at his behavior and his actions and things of that nature, and now it's come to light that you've been capped the whole time. Oh yeah, that makes it look real bad. So any damage control you trying to do now, no. No, you had all these years to perfect your story. You had all these years to get that thing settled. And if you haven't done that by now, and now that she's coming out and she's speaking on it, and she feeling some type of way about you, that's all because of the neglect that you had in that situation towards the relationship between you and your niece. And like I said, if you put her in a situation to where she was abused by that man and she's holding resentment towards you, you gotta wear that. So you gotta wear that. Everybody involved, any of the victims, if they have ill feelings towards you, you gotta wear it. Because that was your doing. You was complicit in that. Even if you just turned your head and didn't address something that needed to be addressed, you was complicit in that. You gotta wear it. Wear it like a glove. Wear it like a suit. I don't care, but you gonna wear it. And that's the problem. Don't nobody want to wear their real titles. They so busy jumping in, making all of these different labels to try to describe themselves and to describe away or label away what they really are. Whenever somebody strip them naked and show them for what they really are, they don't even know how to handle it. They can't even humble themselves and be like, all right, this is me. What now? They don't even have that type of humility. So they would rather try to run around and grab a fig leaf. So while you running to grab these fig leaves, just know that we see you in your rare form, what you really truly are. And now you just got, the only way you can work your way back is through honesty. Transparency. We already see you for what you are. Now build on that. I can respect that from somebody, but if you keep on backpedaling, knowing that we know the truth and knowing that this girl is not telling no lie on you, you lose so much respect in that manner because it shows flaws in your character to where you just have to win and to where you can't accept defeat like somebody who's a good sport and well-rounded in that area. So I don't know, man. It's gonna be a long time coming for this because this is stuff that's been swirling around for years, and at some point, R. Kelly, yeah, he's the main culprit, but all of these people who enabled him and all of these people who just gave their daughters over to that man, yeah, you gotta come to accountability now. It may have took all these years, but you had plenty of years to deal with it. And so right now is going to show who had the integrity to deal with this situation in their life so that they could become better, or if they just hid this in the back of their mind and try to keep it a secret and hope that nobody ever found out. We about to find out who those people are because they scrambling now like roaches when the lights come on. You got them running each and every way. Everybody trying to get their stuff together, get their story together. You better get it right this time because this time it's coming with time behind it. They already done gave R. Kelly a hot 30 and now they trying to give him a hot whatever else. And some of y'all other people going to be looking at whatever type of charge they try to come at you for. So get your stuff together. Leave these children alone. Leave these children out of your business. If you got some grown business between you and another adult, then you handle that with that other adult. Don't ever try to use those children because remember, they gonna remember what you did. And when they get old enough, that's gonna come back in their recollection, and they gonna put two and two together, and they gonna see you for what you really are. And then you're gonna wonder why this sudden flip of their attitude towards you and why your relationship with them ain't the same as it used to be. It's because they remember what you did, and back then they was too young to really put it together and see how you really violated them. But as they got older, they're able to put it together and see that you violated them. And so now they hold their resentment against you. This is the place that grown-ups are putting themselves in by allowing children to be put in their business. Leave the babies out of it. If you can't do it without putting somebody else in to intervene and block, then you need to bow out. Keep your mouth closed. That's that. Yo, this is your boy D Mac, man. It's so much going on out here. And I don't speak on like people who's in a close vicinity of what I'm doing. I speak on the national news, the things that's going on out here in the entertainment industry, which a lot of our people operate in. Some are in the business sector, but there's quite a lot of our news and ideas that come from the entertainment sector. And this one in particular, like I was saying, this is about R. Kelly in the second case. He's going back to trial, and it's bringing out these new people now who's being held accountable for R. Kelly being able to move the way that he moved. That's what this whole conversation is about. And so Miss Sparkle, she trying to do damage control because the little girl that got peed on came out and said that Aunt Sparkle was pushing her more and more towards R. Kelly. And so I imagine by this time it had already been known what R. Kelly was, doing. The rumors was already moving around. The whispers behind the scenes was already taking place at that time. Because I remember whenever I first heard about it, it was it was around the time when him and Jay-Z was doing Best of Both Worlds, that whole collaboration that they was doing. Yeah, won't you come to my hotel and all of that stuff like that. It was around that time. So that's when the real story started coming out about R. Kelly. Hey, blessings to you, Truth Lady. How you doing? Thank you for coming in and checking out what I'm talking about, because I'm trying to match up the time frame in which I first started hearing all of the rumors about R. Kelly and how he had this appetite for young girls. They showed a clip of where he was on the Apollo when all of this was going on, and we know Apollo back in the early 90s. That's when it was really popping. And so he went on there and made a point to serenade the crowd of girls and had them to hold up a sign saying, if you're 18, then you can fall under this criteria. You can go with me and I'll take you home with me. And they thought that was cute, but really that was a subliminal shot by R. Kelly that he was putting out there. And that was trying to some damage control, and that was way back when. So, you know, how old is Sparkle's niece now? She's like 20 something, 25, 26. And it happened when she was like 14. So that means it's been well over a decade since this whole thing took place. So this lady's had a whole entire decade to deal with her Aunt Sparkle and to come to some type of resolve or resolution in this whole entire ordeal. And if you haven't, in a whole entire decade, resolved this with your niece, then that means that she's harboring some type of resentment for something that you did or something that you didn't do. That's very evident. Very evident. We don't need to hear a story from either side to deduce that so far based off of it, just off of the general information that we have. So this coming on and trying to convince people otherwise, and that it's the mom and the mom's controlling her, whether the mom's controlling her or not, they have some type of grounds on which to control this situation and to bring this allegation to you directly, like they have. They've got some type of leverage. They've got some type of receipts in order for her to just come out after not saying nothing after an entire decade and more, to now all of a sudden just drop it in your lap like that. She could have dropped it in her uncle's lap. Her uncle was around too, right? Or was that Aaliyah's uncle? Somebody's uncle was in the mix. But that's neither here nor there. Your responsibility and what she's holding you accountable for, you're going to have to wear that, Sparkle, Miss. And I say that with the utmost respect, because it's hard to be in that music industry as a female, trying to get on, being in the presence of somebody like R. Kelly, who at that time was very highly regarded in the music industry, and you're trying not to ruffle any feathers, trying to maintain your dignity and your integrity, but at the same time, being able to kind of straddle the fence in this industry to get along and to get ahead in it. I understand trying to play the game. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that knowing that R. Kelly had a propensity to mess with very, very young girls, did you introduce your very, very young niece to him? That's the question. Did you do that? And that's going to give us a kind of a gauge on what your intent was. Because regardless of the situation, and a lot of people can sit back and say what they would and wouldn't do whenever they're not in that situation. That's so easy for us to do. I give you that. Granted that. Point taken. But being coming from the background that I come from, I don't care what deal is on the table. I don't care what type of promises are made. If I understand that this man has the potential to do something to destroy the mental capacity of this young lady for the rest of her life, do you think I'm going to carry that type of weight on myself? Do you think I'm gonna carry that guilt on my back? And there's a lot of people that's carrying the guilt of what this young lady has had to deal with for all of these years. All because they tried to keep her identity as private as possible. But come on, let's be honest. People know who she is. And so there's a weight, a major weight that's being carried by this young lady. And I guarantee you that there's some psychosis that's taking place because of the stuff that she had to endure because of this event in her life. So it's going to be kind of touchy dealing with this. Now you have mental health issues involved now. We don't know this young lady's state of mind. We don't even know if she's competent to be speaking on this situation. We haven't really heard from her. Have anybody heard audio from her? Have anybody seen a video or any type of footage or coverage from this young lady yet? I haven't. And this is a story that I stay close on. So until we are able to have some type of visual of this young lady and see how she's responding and how she uh, put together her thoughts and how she articulates those things, until we have a sight of that, then we can't really say how valid her testimony is going to be in this. But she definitely got a reaction out of Sparkle to where Sparkle felt like she had to come on and do some damage control. So I just want to see a little bit more of this. I would like to see the young lady speaking. I would like to see her engaging in conversation or communicating to see if she's on that type of level or if she has any mental deficiencies that would slow her down or stop her. It's a very important piece of this. It's like I said, it's been years since this took place, and now she's coming out and having to give that testimony all over again. Who knows what her mental state and her intent is now? She could very well have been coached by her mom. Her mom couldn't be pulling the strings behind her, telling her that this is an opportunity that you missed the last time because you was too young, but now we can seize this moment. That very well could be the situation. I'm just speculating and throwing some scenarios out there that could very well play out. But at no point are we going to give any benefit of the doubt to Sparkle, because now you've been alleged as somebody who helped R. Kelly to do the things that he did. So yeah, all of these years where you had an opportunity to set the record really straight, you didn't set the record really straight. Yeah, it really is a shame, sis. I swear it's a shame. And it all comes down to integrity. If you caught up in something and you caught, don't keep scrambling and trying to backpedal. Just, hey, it was me. I did it. It is what it is. Let's move forward, and learn from those mistakes. That's just common sense or common integrity or common moral sense. But a lot of us, we struggle in those areas sometimes, and some things we feel is just a hard thing to deal with, and we avoid it as much as we can until we get pushed into a corner and we can't back away from it anymore. And we have to address that elephant in the room now. So, Miss Sparkle, this is your elephant. This is your room. She's addressed it. And we go from here. And I hope the best comes out of this situation as far as healing and as far as you and your family being able to talk this out and gain some understanding in it. Because if you've been wrong, if you've been misinterpreted or misrepresented in this, then I hope you get that cleared up so that we can continue to have a good outlook on you, or what I'm saying. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going with this story and see what unfolds and just peel back the layers on it and see who else gets exposed. You just still got R. Kelly's brother. You still have a few managers and agents who need to step to the forefront as well. So we just gonna keep an eye out for those people and see how they move. It's gonna be interesting and it's gonna take a while. So I appreciate everybody for coming in, Truth Lady. You know, I'm always blessed by your presence, and I'm gonna start to do a little bit more opening up for engagement as far as doing panels and stuff. You know, I've been talking and been dealing with a couple people, and you know, I'll be having some good topics sometimes that would only be enhanced by having somebody else's point of view to be able to come on and voice it, which is nothing that I've uh, shy away from or something that I don't welcome. It's just the way that I have my stuff formatted is based on me being able to talk out my thoughts and articulate my thoughts and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm going to try to mix it up and start doing a few more panel type formats and having people to come on and really engage on that level. I think that would be beneficial on a lot of different ends, and it definitely helps you to gain different perspectives and see how other people feel about these topics. So I'll be working on that here soon, man, and I appreciate it. Truth Lady, you know, I definitely would love to hear your voice and get you to weigh in on some of these things. So the door is always open for that. It ain't gonna be that toxic energy and stuff like that. No, I'm not gonna rock with it like that. And we'll just go from there and see how that thing go. If it go all right, cool. If it don't, then bet I'm back to my regular format. But there's nothing wrong in trying new things and just expanding. So, all right, man. I appreciate y'all for coming on. This is your boy D Mac, and y'all know what I say, man. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.